Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm excited to bring you a special episode. This is going to be the first video in the series of the $2,800 Silverado. Now it's pretty self-explanatory. I picked up this Chevy Silverado with only 174,000 miles for $2,800. I'm just excited to show you what I've done to it so far and what I plan on doing with it and using it for. So I'm happy to get into it. Now, before you think this was an absolute steal, which I got a very fair price on this truck, I'm going to let it be known it does have some damage, and that's how I got it so cheap. So we're going to go ahead and get that out of the way first. So this truck was rear-ended. Somebody was coming up to a stoplight and was texting, didn't see the guy had stopped. They swerved to the right, and they missed most of the truck, but they did hit the back. They pushed the bumper in, they crunched the bed up, and insurance basically said it's totaled. It's a lost cause. So the owner said, okay, well, give me the check, and he's going to sell the truck. So he sold the truck to me for $2,800, and he was just happy to get rid of it, and I was happy to buy it. So it worked out good for everybody. Yeah, the damage is pretty gnarly. It does have some Bondo on it right now, which we're going to sand down, and then we're going to paint over and kind of reshape that back corner a little bit, make it look a little bit better. So it will look better than it is now. It's kind of on an in-between stage. The rear headlight housing was completely busted off. Only this lens was intact. Everything else was completely crunched and crumbled. So one of the first things I did was I picked up a just new set of taillight housings on eBay. They were 39 bucks, and they came with the housings, 8 bulbs, and a new wiring harness, which all I needed was the housings, but I'm happy to have the extra stuff lying around in case I need it. So I would definitely recommend that. They've done well so far. I may need to do an in-depth review on how long they last, see if they get any moisture in them, but they've held up really good so far. I do have a new bumper I'm going to be putting on once I do some of that Bondo work, so the bumper is going to be nice and shiny and all that. So it will definitely be looking better for sure, but that is the damage, and that is how I got it so cheap. But other than that, everything on this truck is very much like good. It is no complaints at all from me. It came wrapped with a metric equivalent of 33s. These are 285 70 R17s. They are on the stock Steelies, which isn't amazing, but hey, it works. This is definitely a work truck. It's a base model truck. Outside of four-wheel drive, I don't really know if it has any options at all. That's why I can't complain too much. It is $2,800, of course. It does have dual exhaust, and it sounds really, really good. The 5.3 is a great sounding engine. It just sounds good. It's not obnoxiously loud or anything, but it just sounds solid. Now, it is squatting a little bit, as you can see. It does have 1,100 pounds of rock in the bed right now, so that's why it's squatting a little bit. This, like I said, this is going to be a work truck, so I'm just going to have to get used to that. I may look at some overload coilover shocks. If y'all have any experience with those, leave them in the comments, because I'd definitely like to know what I could do. I don't really want to add a leaf to affect the quality, but I would be interested in adding some of those overload shocks. It is four-wheel drive too, and as you'll see in a second, it's got the manual four-wheel drive shifter, so it's not electronic, which I don't mind. It is an extra cab, and it does seat 6. And it's wrapped in those tires all the way around, and they're still really good. They still got lots of life left in them, so it's awesome to have good tires on it already. Now to the front, that's kind of what I've done the most to so far. I have added the plate that used to be on Freebird, the Don't Tread on Me. It's kind of a throwback to Freebird. Those of you who have been on the channel for a while know what I'm talking about. The headlight housings I had on this were extremely crusty, yellowed, old. They were just nasty, and they made the truck look 30 years older. So I went on eBay, picked up this set, full set for 65 bucks. Came with the top 2 and the bottom 2 housings. I couldn't pass that up for $60. So I threw them in. They look great. I'm having a little bit trouble with the gear lights. This one's not working. It's not because of the bulb. It's because of the actual socket itself I need to replace. But that's probably just a $3 fix. Once I get that going, those will be set. The grill was an extremely faded, ugly gray. It was just looked weathered, and the bow tie was just as bad. So I went to Walmart and got a $5 can of spray paint and painted the grill and the Chevy bow tie black. And with kind of the black background or the darker background of the headlights, it just looks so much better. I mean, it just looks way newer, it looks way nicer, way more modernized. It's so base model, it doesn't even have fog lights, which I may look into adding some LED fog lights. But it is a fairly basic truck, like I said. But at the same time, it was only 2,800 bucks, so I cannot complain. Another thing is this truck is super clean for the age and what it's used for. So the guy bought it, he bought it when it had 90 miles on it. So he'd had it for like 16, 17 years, and he put seat covers on it day one. And he used it as a work and a hunting truck, and so it got extremely dirty, but the seat covers were taking all the dirt. So these seats are extremely clean. There's no tears, there's no stains. Everything is just spick and span. Even the front seat, even the driver's seat is just amazing condition, which is awesome. That's pretty hard to find in a 05 Cat Eye, especially a work truck. Now this is super basic. It does not have power locks. It's a manual lock on both sides. It's got your manual roll up and roll down windows, which I don't mind at all because it's not something less to break. Some people would rather it be power, but I really don't care. Getting in the truck, it only has 174,000 miles on it. So it's not even broken in my opinion yet. These vehicles can easily go over 300,000. It did come with a Cobra 29NW LTD Classic CB. I did not include a cord or an antenna, so we'll have to buy that. The CB does work. Here's the four-wheel drive in the floor. It just pops right in. I prefer it over the electronic. It's just easier, it's quicker. I feel like it's something less to break as well. Oh, I did add the steering wheel cover that Freebird used to have. It's the same kind. Just another little throwback to Freebird. I just thought it would be cool to have that on there. Now for the climate controls, it's your pretty basic setup. It's got the 2 adjusters on each side, not electronic display or anything like the Tahoe I have. But it is base model and it does work great. Heat works great, AC works great, no complaints. Going up top here, one of the first things I did was put a new sound system in it. Now I put about $50 in the sound system. Just the head unit and the speakers were $30. So it's an extremely cheap audio system, but it does work. I made another video. It's going to be episode 2 of the series, just talking about the sound system. So if you have any questions, go check that video out. But when I got it, the front door speakers did not work. And that's a very common problem with these, because the front door speakers has paper. It's like a paper system. So when the paper tears, the speaker's shot. And on paper degrades, so on an old crusty truck, the paper is going to tear and it's going to ruin the speaker. So none of the front speakers worked. Well, there's only 2, so neither of the front speakers worked. And only the back 4x6 speakers worked. And they were the paper speakers as well. So they weren't hitting on a whole lot either. So I went and just bought the new audio setup, and it's very budget, but it works. And for a work truck, it's fine. I can play my own music and I can charge my phone while I'm driving. Now the floors are a little dirty, but they are vinyl, so I need to clean it up and get some floor mats. But other than that, the inside is just super clean. I mean, everything about it is just so nice. He also had a steering wheel cover on it, a different one that I took off, but it really preserved the steering wheel as well. So no major tears in the steering wheel at all, which is super nice. A couple of the gauges are a little wonky. The RPM gauge is a little bit off, and then the battery voltage gauge can be off at sometimes, but it's really fine. It doesn't matter that much. As you can see, there's no spot to hit the fog lights because there are no fog lights, and that little cubby is where the electronic four-wheel drive would go if it was a little bit higher trim truck. I just think it's cool that they just kind of block those spaces off and make them little cubbies, like you're ever going to put anything in there. But yeah, that's the inside of it. The back is equally as clean, if not more so. The floor's a little dirty, but the seats are just perfect. No complaints there at all. And it does seat 6, and I have a big family, so it is nice. One complaint, I wish the middle seat would fold down. For some reason, Chevy made it an option to get the middle seat to fold down in these Cat Eyes. I don't know why that's an option, but it was. So I do need to put some sort of armrest in there. And there's the speakers in the back. And if you want a video of how I wired in the sound system and put the bigger speakers in the back doors, let me know. I'd be happy to make one. But yeah, when I got this truck, it was absolutely filthy. Basically took 2 washes outside to get all the grime off. I mean, the hood was a different color by the time I was done with it. There was so much caked just grime on it, just general road grime. Not even mud, just nastiness. And the inside was just as bad. But once I vacuumed it up, I took the seat covers off, it just cleaned up the truck amazingly. And from this angle, it just looks really good. Obviously, not perfect from that one back corner. But other than that, once I fix that up a little bit, this truck will be rocking and rolling. It runs great. There's no complaints. It does have the 5.3 V8. So I've got 3 or 4 vehicles with that engine. It's such a good engine. Super easy to work on. And it sounds awesome. So yeah, that's the first episode of the $2,800 Silverado series. If y'all have any questions, please leave a comment. I'll make sure to get back to you. If there's anything you want to see me do to this truck, let me know and I'd be happy to look into it. If there's any questions about how I did something, let me know. I'll get back to you. Please like and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.